Okay, I gotta see how I'm gonna get into this, right? Cause I think I have my old dark. Okay, I have my old dark ramp. So let's see. Let's compare. On my old dark ramp, I'm gonna just copy this. I'm gonna just copy this. All right. So I'm gonna do the the typical YouTube intro. Yo yo yo, what's poppin'? It's your boy, Young German Chocolate Cake, no icing, just straight fucking cream, aka Young UPS Delivery Box, cause I'm brown, aka Young UPS Delivery Man because I got the package and I'm giving it to your mom. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna just get right into it. I'm not fucking around today. We we are, bruh, dark as fucked. All right, kidding. Honestly, dark's not that bad. Dark's pretty decent, but it's like TLDR. It could be better, right? It could be better. And there's like just weird shit about the element. I'm just like why? Why is it like this, bro? Why is my full auto fucked up? Did I fuck something up? Best intros on YouTube. I'll appreciate that. So, just getting into this, we got the old, right? The old rant, and I'm gonna just skim through this, right? So last year, Dark was good, but it's not great. I still think Dark is good. All right, Dark is good. Oh, y'all can't even see the fucking. Why is that shit cropped? Y'all can't see the top of my thing. Oh, cause I have the I know why it's like that. Hold on. Fuck, if I fix that though, it's gonna fuck up my tab. Let me just make a new window capture. Uh, and then properties. There we go. Okay. And then turn this off and then put this one here. Okay, bet. So, right. I still think Dark is good. It's just not great. When you look at from like top to bottom, right? The way that I look at it is you have burst content, full auto content, and like high level content. So like burst content is like anything from like one pawn to uh like bar farming, like those types of things. So UBN, Akasha, Bahama High Level, Go HL, like all that type of stuff. Um, full auto. When you look at like full auto raids, the undead raids like Horus, Luminera, Credo, Cosmos, Luo, all those things, right? MMT. You could even FA your like UBHL with Dark. I tend to do that, or you could even use Dark to FA like some of these raids, right? So, and you can even FA solo sub HL. So that's something neat that Dark has access to, which is pretty cool that we didn't have access to before, right? So it's good, but again, it like for full auto, but I think there's stronger full auto elements for sure. Water being a prime example, but water is a fucking cheater element, so we're not gonna talk about that. And then in high level content, dark is dark is good in HL. It's not the fastest element for sure, but comparatively to like a year ago and even like times before, like you have good sustain, you have good damage, and you have options. So like just looking at like I don't know, like my Hexa party, right? You look at Hexa, you have sustain from thirsting from near, you have Oro passive for sustain, you have Fetial one for sustain, Excalibur heals on main hand, or if you're running Zosimos for Hexa as well. Zosimos heals. Who else heals? I think Lobelia heals. Yeah, Lobelia heals with skill 2. So you have like all this like sustain, which used to be an issue for Dark. Before Orologia, our sustain was ass, bro. Like you had like Fetial one and like that's it. Like it was pretty bad. And Zosimos was fucking like low key ass. Because I don't think we had Ouroboros by the time Zosimos like dropped. I think Zosimos came out before MD even existed. So don't quote me on that though. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was Oro really like changed up the game for like dark high level. So even dark high level is good. It's just not it's not crazy like water. Water can speed run. I think wind is faster than dark still, possibly. Uh, Earth after Makuta is pretty good too. I think I've seen like 420 plus DPM, which is really good. But yeah, even like last year when I made last year's video, Orologia didn't exist. So Dark HL was like kind of whack, but now it's like really good. So I don't have much to say about that. I think in terms of burst content, cause I didn't really cover that like exclusively. Akasha is decent. There's like a I like kinda stole some days like full auto the one turn. So I think I have the party still somewhere. I think it's actually this one. Uh, this one where basically you Seox one, Ilsa one. You main Orologia, so MC gets double strike, and then you also get the Orologia like one, which you could also I use this skill because it procs too. Aku, you need to see the arrest stats. Oh, are you talking about anniversary? Oh, I don't care about that right now. I'll look after. Um, but yeah, pretty much like burst wise, you could also one button. You could zero button Akasha too, like attack if you I think it's this one. You could just run this party. I think you can even kick Ilsa for like Bowman. It might be like a little bit more damage, but you can literally just like attack, and you can get mins. That's usually what I do whenever like runs are like super fast. But if it's just like a casual like weekend farm or whatever, I just hit Ilsa one and just attack because it just does more damage. You kill the raid faster. It doesn't take a lot of time to hit Ilsa one. So farming Akasha is easy. Farming Bahamut high level is a little hard because you can get a really solid two turn with Ilsa one, Seox one. But the problem with like Dark Bahamut high level is Ilsa one and Seox one are yellow skills. So if you refresh, you're running into the Bahamut like join animation again, which takes a long time. So you end up falling behind comparatively to like say Fire, where you hit Orchid 3 and you're just kind of blowing out the boss. You could though, you could run Orchid and Death into like Sidala, for example, or Seox. Probably Seox is better because you want Sidala in the front for the debuff. But the problem with that is you hit like a rush lockout. Like Fire can do that because Fire doesn't have lockout. You hit like Secret Triad, you summon, and then you like Percy 3 and attack, right? On like the Mana Diver setup. And on the Lucha setup, or the Sumibito setup, depending on what you're running, you pretty much, it's the same shit. You Orchid 3, Yatima, Alanan 4, and then tag team Percy 3 attack. And by the time you attack, you already hit mins, so the lockout doesn't matter. But for Dart, the lockout matters because like all your characters are double striking, and it kind of just like sometimes when the raid's going super fast, you only have that one turn. Later, Nathaniel. Um, in terms of financial and like time investment, honestly, Dart like if you're dropping money on Dart, it's not that bad. Because again, Dark HL is better. So if you're like, let's say you're trying to like invest in like Zosimos and like causality drivers, PNS, like Fedial spines or spears, I mean, it's actually not that bad. Because again, you do decent damage, you have good sustain. Um, it's not hard to pilot at all. Like for example, like Dark Fall Zero, quite literally, this is like a different party, but typically you'd have like a sack here into Ray, so you don't even have to worry about that. You literally put Aura 1 on MC, you click Fed 3, you put Ray 1 on MC, and then you like cycle between Secret Triad and Chaser every 3 turns, and you just spam the raid. You spam orange button. It's not hard to pilot. MC basically clears everything. It's pretty easy to pilot, unlike some other elements where you have to like think a little bit to some extent. So, and then of course time investment too. Like if you're farming out stuff like Agonize, if you don't have the Fed Spears, if you're farming out stuff like that, or like Agostia staves, I think Agostia saves are kind of worth farming a little bit, especially for like burst scenarios. Even like Magna Dart too. Magna Dart struggles with HP, but you could run Agostia staves like Defense Awakening for like your HP on Magna Dart because it's not reliant on like any type of like elemental boost from summons. So there's that as well. But I think too. I mean, most people are farming all the revans. Even like this, by the way, is is a good option. It's like a one of, and again, it's like applicable to Magna as well as Primal. So I think farming for weapons that you can use like free to play in grid is not bad. And of course, Magna, of course, too. When you're farming M3, the fists are pretty good for burst, but situationally, Agostia saves are better. And you get tempering as well. So this kind of makes up for the Fedial Spear. So again, you can like Mana Diver Mash, things of that nature, kind of like makes up for it. And then of course the guns give you what Garrison and crit and cap up, like healing cap up. So this helps with some of the sustain. Like if you're running Zosimos, you get the heal off of like chains and calling Lucifer, things of that nature. So you get like really good sustain. Um, and then the fun factor, honestly, bruh, bro. Dart characters is the crit big enough though? You don't care about the crit. You really care about the heal cap. Cause you're not running like more than 2 of these max, so you don't care about the crit like that. You're not gonna crit. So that's something to mention. The crit is just kind of there. But yeah, fun factor, bro. Low key, again, and I cannot stress this enough, bro. Fediel is a 2021 character. Ray is a 2020 character. Lobulia is getting death in the setup. Half the time you're running a sack anyway, right? Oro is in terms of HL, Oro is like the only like actual like character that has like changed the meta to like add on to like the element. But could you say Oro is fun? Not really. I mean, you click skill 1 and that's it. Of course, you stack your skill 3 as well. But you click skill 1 and that's pretty much it, bruh. You get some decent shit like Tri Strike and like you can end CDs for like a character and it gets like you can cast it again. But I mean that's fun to some extent. But half the time you don't need to cast that skill anyway, so it doesn't get used. You would just use it for fun in like scenarios where like you're playing like competently, right? So I wouldn't necessarily say like Oro is like fun to use. You can disagree, that's fine too. But like me personally, I don't think clicking a button is having uptime is like that fun, right? I would argue a character like UL is much more fun. Like Grand UL, because you actually have to like use her skills. Like you have to get your stances up so that your Fox Flame auto procs on your like normal attack, and your skill 3 you can click it and it's up every 7 turns, and you get flurry, you get an attack without using up a turn. You can recast when you're in Gyo stance. Like it's actually like I would argue it's like fun. Cause you get to see all the damage go off, you get to see the flurry numbers, you get to apply Fox Flame. She amplifies damage by 10%. She boosts your MA against like Fox Flame allies, dodge rate, so watching her dodge and like take no damage is fun. She gives you passive crit and damage cap up when you're in Gyo stance. You can get Gyo stance as fast as like turn 7 if you're running her in like a scenario where you're like calling Sun and using Percy 3, and even if you were like using burst like tag team and shit like that too, where she's like triple attacking, you can get it pretty early. But in the HL scenario, you're probably getting it in like 8 to 10 turns, depending on like how you pilot the character and like what setup you're bringing. So there's that as well. Again, in high level, 8 to 10 turns is not a lot of turns. So I think a character like UL has a much more fun factor, right? And I don't even know what other grands we've gotten since let me see. Grand, like recently. Can I like, bro? Why can't I? Hold up. I can't scroll to the right. Where's the scroll bar? Bruh. Anyway, I could probably figure out which characters are like recent. Let me just fucking bloat this shit out for like a second so I can hit the release date. Right? So like recent grands. Where'd the grands go? Bro, this is scuffed. Hold on, bro. This shit's scuffed as fuck. Alright, UL, Raphael, Yatima. Vayne came out last year too, right? And so did Medusa. Yeah. And Fenny, right? Fenny is 2024. And then Sandy was 2023. I'm pretty sure. Because Fenny was last year's Sandy event, right? Also, maybe it's just me, but the skill 1 skill damage Oro gives feels very slow. Yeah, it goes through that whole swirl animation, but typically you're refreshing anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much, to me at least. And you're not really running Oro on FA in like some scenarios. Having near Logi as Osimos and Miniature twice with Ray 1 is kind of fun though. I agree, but you're also clicking orange button, so you're not really you're refreshing. I'm like, if you're in a HL scenario where you're playing F-Zero or Hexa, you cannot watch all those animations go off. You're gonna fall behind and you're gonna like break your setup to some extent. And even then, again, Dark doesn't do as much damage as like water or like earth. So you're kind of just like you're doing all that skill damage, which is fun, but you're not even doing like crazy damage either, right? And when you're looking at the characters like Orlogia, Fediel, Ray in that scenario, there's really like nothing else you could do. And if you're using other characters for fun, which I'll get into characters later. I'm not going to get into characters now, bro. It's a whole spiel. But yeah, I don't think Dark is like that fun to play. I still find it fun because I love the element and I main the element, so I kind of find it fun because I'm brain damaged. But comparatively to like Fire or like not Earth, like Fire and like Water, I would consider those elements like much more fun. I don't consider Wind fun, bruh. You click Cats 4 and you Rising Force like Ougi spam. Light, you do the same shit. You cast some skills and you Ougi spam. But even like shit like Light is much more fun, or like Wind is like more fun. Cause like Light, for example, you click let me just pull up the party here. I have the fall party. Like you click like Horus 3, animation's pretty cool, right? And you fade it chain like over and over and over. You get this. You can see like a lot of her debuffs when you click skill 1, skill 2, and like seeing all those debuffs go off is like pretty cool and satisfying, right? As opposed to Dark, nothing happens. You're not clicking skills on Ray. You click skill 1. Fedial 3 you can never recast. Her skill 1 you probably cast it once because you're not faded chaining more than like twice in the fight. So you use that skill 2 to 3 times, and then you're never really seeing her skill 2 unless you're doing like 10 debuffs, right? And of course MC you're pretty much only clicking Secret Triad or Chaser, which pretty much have the same animation. And they just give you Echo. And like Clarity just clears a debuff. Versus Cosmos, you get to see all this elemental damage go off, and it's like she does superior elemental damage like on everything. You get to see like her Halo attunement and shit, like whenever she clicks it, and you get to see the HP like go up to halfway. Like I feel like that's kind of satisfying and kind of fun to play around the fact that she needs to be close to 50% like HP to get max value. I think that's like pretty cool. And then of course Zoe isn't like Zoe 2 is like kind of satisfying too. Like these are all like satisfying skills that you have to click, or I guess yeah, you pretty much like have to click. And like the animations are cool, the effects are cool, and you can cast them multiple times. You're casting Fedial 3 one time, and you're using her skill 1 like 1 to 3 times. You're casting Ray 1 one time, you turn it off for like a CA omen, and then you just put it on again. And then you cast skill 3 like once to 3 times. So Dark, you're casting like between the actual characters, we're not going to count MC, between the actual characters, you're casting Aura 1 maybe like 5, 6 times in a fight. And her 3 you cast like 2 to 4 times, usually twice. And what? So that's what That's like 7 clicks, and then Fediel and Ray, you're maybe clicking like combined like 5 skills, like 5 to 8 skills. So you're clicking like 10 skills, which in a way is beneficial because you're getting benefits for like minimal like skill clicks. But again, it doesn't that doesn't really make it like fun to me. Like light, you can click these skills and you're still doing very good damage. And you have like fucking infinite sustain, bro, between like Zoe 2 and like calling Lucifer, Zeus shield, all that. Your sustain is like disgusting. Having Sandy was the first grand. Okay, Sandy too, yeah. Sandy is fun too. Sandy, you get to see all the hits go off. You can apply the buffs to your team. You actually have to click his skills. The skills are kind of cool. Like those are so much more fun. But again, the reason that kind of is because these characters are from 2020 and 2021. It's crazy. Even Lobelia is like semi-fun because you gotta click his skill 1. And then his skill 3 applies. You get to see all the nukes go off, like every skill you click. Like he's like fun to use. But again, he's a recent character. And he's seasonal, so that makes sense. Which brings me to my next fucking issue. But well, yeah, no, we're not getting to that, bro. We'll go to the relevant content first. So again, Fa, Dark is good. Like any of these HL raids, Dark is good, right? Not the best element, but you can get the job done, and you can do a little bit more. Like before Zosimos and like things of that nature, and before Oro, in Hexa, if there was a Pearl up, you kind of just explode. But if you're low stacks and there's a Pearl up and you're running Zosimos, you can kind of push with a Pearl up. You don't have to be like as fearful as you used to, right? And like Fall 3 or Fall like Dark Rapture high level, you can push like sub 20 with a labor up, of course, not as proficiently as other elements can, but you can do it, and that was something before Oro that we couldn't do. So, um, comparatively to last year, Dark is in a much, much, much better spot. And that's without even including characters. Like, if you're one of those people that want to use other characters, Satyr is pretty good. DLF is pretty decent. Um, Florence backline, or even if you frontline Florence, I don't think Florence is too bad either. Um, we're not gonna talk about Indala. I just wait on that shit, bro. Um, again, we talked about Akasha, Bahamut high level. Go HL doesn't really apply to Dark. Most of the time in Go HL, you're running setups like this where it's like a 1 or 2 button. For this setup, I just call T0 and that's it, and you just hit mins. So you're not really running Dark in that scenario. So I'm not gonna talk about Go HL. If you did run Dark and Go HL, you pretty much just run the same shit you run everywhere with Aresh. It's whatever. And honestly, going back to the fun factor, bruh, Areshing everything does not feel fun to me. I'm kind of like Aresh is always gonna be there for sure, but it's getting kind of stale. But that's because the characters are a little stale. Like Sidala is new, and Sidala is good, but you don't press her skills. It's another one of those scenarios where like you don't press the skills. Even like fire, when you're bursting, you're pressing like Percy 3, which is cool. You get the buffs and all that, and you like see like the big chunk of damage go away, and you get like you can click like Alanan 4. You can like actually like click skills like UL 3, and you get like some satisfaction. Dark, you're hurting yourself because of a rush lockout, you don't have time to click all those skills. If you click seed all at 3, you just like wasted time because the boss might get pushed into a trigger, and then you're forced to refresh, right? Or like Ilsa 3, you're never gonna click that because again, Aresh, you're never gonna click her 2 because the boss is probably already debuffed. So you're only gonna click her 1, and that's like pretty much always the burst, like always. And like maybe like Seox 1. Those are the only buttons you're ever gonna press. Which again, bursting. The whole point of bursting is like minimalizing skill press to maximize damage to hit mins. But again, I just kind of it's just a little stale. I wish we got a character similar to um what character am I thinking of? Like Nahon or like Florence. Where sure you click the skills, but they do so much. Just to make it like just to spice it up a bit. Like just to give you some options, right? But that's just like a little critique. I still find like farming Akasha and shit fun with the Resh. So obviously like the fun is still there, But low key, I'm a psychopath, so you can't really take my word on that. Going back to the current relevant content, um, I will add the shit, the martial mastery trial. Dark is pretty fun in that. Even like even like I'll start our FA for it, right? So y'all can see. This is one of the scenarios where playing Dark is like fun, right? This is one of those scenarios where you actually get to see all the skill damage go off, and you're not like harmed by it because um of whatchamacallit. You're not harmed by it because it's like a full auto, right? So that's something to keep in mind too. I need to turn her 3 back on. Oh, it's already on. But yeah, we'll see here. I'll pub it too because I don't feel like doing it. But like you can just like kind of watch on the side like all the skill damage. Like this is pretty fun for me. Like watching Zosimos kind of go off, like things of that nature. This is like fun for me, right? As a dark player, because it's like refreshing where you actually get to see the strength of your Ellie skill damage and like the purpose of your Ellie's skill damage like actually go off. This is very satisfying, right? And MMT is like one of those few raids where you can actually get away with that. So that's something to keep in mind too. Of course, another one is Lumi M3. When you're following that raid too, you really get to sit there and like watch stuff like pop off. So that's satisfying. Like looking at all this skill damage is like super satisfying. Even like as far as like the echoes go to some extent, it's pretty satisfying, right? Same with Lumi M3. Lumi M3 is literally the same thing. You're just full autoing it, and it's like beneficial. Like 16 mil is crazy, right? Moving on to like the revans. You're farming what is it, Cosmos? Bruh. Okay, hear me out, hot take. Cosmos is actually fun to farm to some extent because of the difficulty, right? Even like full autoing Cosmos takes you again, it takes you back to like watching all the skill damage nukes. It's super satisfying. And of course we got Lobelia recently, and watching Lobelia like do his shit it's a breath of fresh air. Like watching all the skill damage go off on the skill clicks, things of that nature, super like refreshing. As somebody that's been using 2020, 2021 characters for fucking years, right? Super refreshing. Um, so yeah, and also Dark, like full autoing Cosmos solo, it is the hardest. I don't care what anybody says, it's the hardest shit to FA. I think with Evangeline, it's pretty straightforward now, but yeah, it's still pretty rough if you're not using Evangeline, and it's rough if you don't have Draconic. There was that Ougi setup with Indala, and like Satyr, but even in that, there was like Uni too. There was like a Uni variant as well. But even then, like I don't think that setup was like 100% guaranteed. Most of these other Revans FAs are like 100% guaranteed. But again, I think Dark has like one of the hardest times, especially because you have to like swap your Draconic and nobody wants to do that. So trying to find a comp where you don't need to swap your Draconic key is like it's a little fun, and the challenge is what makes it fun to me. And then Sandbox and Wampon, like a Resh versus like Hrace versus like Hunting versus like Aura, and like even like Romp nowadays is like relevant. Um, I would say like again, having your characters double strike is probably more satisfying than like watching MC double strike by themselves with Hunting. I think watching the Aura nukes go off is pretty fun, and I think watching Hrace's like insane like echo, like all the hit numbers and stuff, is very satisfying as well. But comparatively, like from a sweaty perspective, Aresh is still really good for like all these Wampon scenarios. You just click attack and you pretty much just like kill everything and like sandbox and like Wamponing, so pretty good. Um, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm missing any raid here. Chat can let me know if I'm missing like some type of raid that like Dark is running. I think the only thing I didn't mention was Horus, but like need raids are like easy as fuck anyway. Kind of not really relevant. So, well, they're relevant, but you know what I mean. It's not like these where they're super important to run. Same with Luo, Six Dragons. That one is kind of like it's pretty easy, right? No one's struggling with Luo. and you pretty much just like join spam that with the Resh anyway. So there's that. Um, let me see. Okay, so I think this is what I'm talking about characters, right? Characters. Okay, I can get into this. I can get into this, bro. From all the dark characters, and I'll pull up the wiki here, bro. Can I sort by element too? All right, bro. All right. So we got Oro, and that's it. In the past year, Oro is the only Grand we've gotten, right? We haven't gotten a 5-star Grand. Orchid was like what 2 years ago. BK was like even longer before that. If you ask me, I think the next Grand that's gonna get a 5-star is either gonna be Shalem or Olivia. I think Fairy is also fair game, and I think all those characters would unironically be fun to use. I think the least fun would probably be Fairy, but I definitely think Shalem is the most likely because again, Unhail is getting that awakening. They're kind of pushing these characters like Indala and Tsukiyomi, which are like Ougi, like um, like Ougi focused. And then when you're looking at Shalem as a character, she's nuking on Ougi. She's applying like code damage with her one, which makes her Ougi twice, I believe. Or maybe she's like passively Ogi's twice. Maybe she doesn't Ougi twice. I forgot. I haven't used this character in fucking forever, right? But for the most part, she's pretty fun. Um, these like skill 3S characters where they're getting all these like the debuffs on a boss. It's interesting. I would think it's pretty fun for Dark, and it would also help with sustain. Ougi twice is Summer Shalem. Okay, yeah. So Dark Shalem's like one. I think something they could do is give her double Ougi and maybe make the nuke uh like two like it procs twice. I think that would be really good, right? And of course, the shield. This should be like AOE. This should be for the whole party. I think she would be pretty good. And giving her some type of like debuff clear, because I think Dark struggles with that to some extent. I need that SC to be party wide. I agree. This should be like party wide, and then this can like stay like the same. It should be like activates like twice or something, or like it changes to like 2 hits of like 800% dark damage, and then it also procs on here too. And then of course she buffs you a dark attack up. I think too, if they wanted to, they could also make her like a Ellie switch character too. But that's neither here nor there, right? So looking at Grands again, that's pretty much it, bro. That's all we got. That's all we got. Where did Oro go? Oh, down here. But yeah. Um, Koku is honestly not that good. I've never seen anyone use this character. If you're using this character, it's like for fun. Especially comparatively to like Uruki, who's like useful for sacking. Especially in Fall Zero, if you're trying to get like a full water clear, Uruki is pretty good. Chichiri and Shushuku, I've never really seen people use them either. I think I've seen Shushuku in like some Ougi Earth like setups. And then Ami was used like when she first released for Yggdrasil M3 because of like the debuffs to get not the share chest, the y'all know what I'm talking about, the light blue chest, right? Um, so comparatively to some of these other ones, Koku is like kind of not that great. And then going to the regular characters, I mean these classic draw characters or whatever, no one's using these characters. Mark is actually not that bad. You could probably use Mark in like those skill damage spamming themes, but bruh, this brings me into like another point about these characters. These characters are either extremely clicky or they don't click, right? Going back to Fediel, you really don't click. Ray, you don't click. But like Mark Gandalf, right? This motherfucker clicking a lot, bro. Indala, don't get me started on fucking Indala, bro. That character is ass. I don't give a fuck, bro. Just fucking all these characters, you just gotta click and click and click, and bro, the damage is fun to look at because it's big numbers, but like the numbers gotta be big because you're clicking and clicking and clicking and investing all that time to click. The damage better be good. The skills better be useful, right? None of these characters really matter. Forte is like good backline, but like nobody cares, right? And then classic draw one here. Bea, whatever, Serb, whatever, Lady Grey, whatever. Like all these characters, like Deadass, like whatever, right? Vanya is like still like decent. Of course, she's not like great. but whenever she got her 5 star, she's like not terrible. It's like probably one of the few characters where you could like still use her, and it's like not the worst. Um, and then we're getting into the standard characters here. If I can scroll up fast, here we go. The premium draw characters. Albert is whatever. Althea is pretty much the same as like Gandalf, or I guess this is Gandalf. The other guy's like fucking, I don't even know, bruh. But he's pretty much the same. Bowman is good, right? But I talked about Bowman before. Bowman situationally has fallen behind with Seox's what's that shit called? Seox's what's that shit called, bro? Uh, is it the Revenant thingy? Radiance. That's what it's called. Seox's Radiance, right? He because of the bonus dark damage at battle start, that's just like 30%, and like obviously these NA damage amplifiers and the skill damage cap buff, and the fact that you start with fucking 6 heavenly How, he definitely eclipsed Bowman. There's situations where you probably don't want to run Ilsa. For example, like when you're doing like UBN or something, you probably want to run Bowman because his nukes are pretty good. And if you're not gonna click Ilsa one, he's like a decent zero button. But because of that Seox on cap, situationally, Bowman just like kind of fell off. Uh, Especially with like Sidala too. Sidala is just a better Bowman, literally. So you're always gonna pick her over Bowman, like 99.9% of the time. I'd never used this character in my life. Never seen this character used. Chloe, low key, I think people sleep on Chloe. Her damage amp is pretty good, and it's like AOE. The skill 3 is pretty decent as well, but it just takes a long time because you need to like, I think it's like 5 adorbs or some shit, and you have to like play, or maybe it's like 3 adorbs. It's like 3 or 5 adorbs, right? And you have to like actually play. Okay, it's 3. So you click her skill. I forgot which skill it is. I gotta fucking extend this again. Yeah, you consume 1 adorb and you consume a second adorb with like skill 1, skill 2, and then you gotta wait 8 turns before you can use another adorb, right? To get this skill 3. It takes way too long, right? It takes way too long. But she is good with the BFF's passive. Giving the refresh effect adds a little bit of sustain, and the light damage reduction is pretty good, especially when bosses are doing like superior Ellie or you're using like Ellie switch. It's not bad, especially as like a backline passive. It's not that bad, right? Especially if you're running like a bunch of heal cap, EMPs, and like you're running like Lucifer sub. The healing can definitely add up, right? So Chloe's actually not that bad. I think she's definitely slept on. Eustace definitely fell off. I think he's still like usable, especially in stuff like sub HL. Just because I think he brings like debuffs to the table with his like blind, or that's his Ougi. Yeah, his like Ougi blind. It does decent damage, and then of course with his skills, he has 4 skills that he can use. Splintered cell buffs are pretty good. Um, Defense down stackable. His crit buffs are decent. Damage cap up, and it applies to the party as well. And then the bonus dark damage from having the I'm not gonna pronounce that shit, y'all. I think that might be French. I don't fucking know. Um, it's a pretty good party buff as well. I used to rely on that stun grenade back in the day. Yes, and even this like grenade option on his skill 4, it can come in very clutch, depending on which grenade you use. Because the red grenade is like delay action explosives, which I forgot what this does, and I can't see because it's like cropped off. But usually you would throw this, right? You throw this one. You don't ever really use this one because it's just accuracy down and like paralyzed, which doesn't work on like HL bosses. But the accuracy is pretty decent. So you're pretty much spamming that skill 1 grenade. And then of course he has pretty good passives as well, like Splintered Cell with allies. You get 25% TA, dodge rate, bonus damage, and then when it has level 90, you get 50% TA, which is really, really, really good. And then of course 20% uplift effect, right? To that ally that you have Splinter Cell with. So, and I think Splintered Cell is indefinite, and you can apply it to multiple characters. Oh, you can't apply it to multiple characters. So you pretty much like throw this on like MC, and you get like a fuck ton of buffs, which is pretty good. He's still usable for sure. Florence is good backline. She's a recent character, and I'm gonna throw this out there. I think Florence is better than like some of the seasonals that have come out for Dart. Um, just for the fact that debuffs are really relevant in like HL raids. For example, Fedial Luo phase and Hexa, as well as like Fa 3 needing like 10 debuffs or 7 debuffs in some scenarios. So you could substitute Fedial out for her, and you lose like TA to some extent, I believe, from Fedial 3. Um, but aside from that, right? She amps your skill damage, which is good for Zosimo. She has healing, um, which I think is auto procs on. Yeah, when you get a crest. So this is pretty good. With Zosimos, again, when you're spamming your skills, you're proccing crest all the time. Her Ougi gives her a crest, and her skill 3 gives you a crest as well. So, and then of course having Dispel Cancel is pretty good. And this skill, the Stellato, is pretty good as well, especially for like you can consume a crest, but Dark generates so many crests with like Tsukiyomi and Lobelia, MC1 on Mana Diver, like the Aether, like suck, I don't know what the fuck to call it, Aether Drain, I think, and Secret Triad, that she has like a basically infinite supply of crest, and then of course being able to proc her skill 1 after auto attacks is pretty good, especially when you're trying to clear debuffs and stuff. Summer Magisa as well is relevant. So yeah, I think Florence is very not bad. And then of course boost the Dark Allies defense based on Oblivion Crest, as we just talked about. Dark has an abundance of crest. 50% defense is a lot of defense. So again, this is just another form of like mitigation, and like sustain that Dark has received recently or in recent time. Freezy's whatever, Ipatsu's whatever. Jasmine has a good HP weapon. Back in the day, Dark had like Babble, but you don't really run Babbles anymore. You would run like a Jasmine weapon, the Herb Basket, or you'd run I believe Satyr's weapon gives HP as well. The Halloween Satyr weapon. Let me see. Yes, it does. It gives small boost to max HP and healing cap, so that option is pretty good as well. Um, Ko is good for like some full autos. I heard that people are using Ko for Cosmos to some extent. I haven't tried it myself, so I don't know how good it is, but just from him being able to sub all the time and having like light cut is pretty good. Also giving allies drain or giving himself drain so he doesn't like blow up from just constantly subbing stuff. It's pretty good, especially when you're trying to live in Cosmos and you're trying to run more damage options like Zosimos and like Hakate and like Magus. Pretty good, right? So I think Ko is kind of underrated. Um, I'm trying to think. None of these other characters like super relevant. Tira's good. Tira's still good. Just she just does a lot of damage. Having the dispel, I believe it's a dispel. Yeah, her skill 1 proccing after a boss uses a special attack. Pretty good for dispelling like boss buffs and stuff. I think this could be definitely relevant for like sub HL if you can't block a special attack or something of that nature, or you can't clear it. This can clear the echo buff off of it, but you're never running Tira in that raid anyway. You'd probably run Tira in like Nightmare like 200 or something, like full auto, which she actually was used for that in previous Guild War. And then of course you have the Rage of Tyranno, which she gets TA, normal attack, flurry, or 2-hit damage rather, not flurry. Damage heals proc twice, and she gets Dispel Cancel. The uptime on this is pretty good, especially if you're running her with Fedial, because you have her shielded, so she's not gonna take a ton of damage. Um, or even like Satyr, because Satyr can sub. So there's that as well. But these being able to proc twice, her being able to remove 2 buffs, she's basically like a dispel bot. And then her giving herself random buffs, which the buffs you can get are supplemental damage, crit, 50% bonus dark damage, and then dodge and counter, which is very good. And it actually has 2-hit flurry. I was right. So she's a very good character, right? And then based on your number of main allies, she gets 30% perp attack, so she's doing a lot of like she can buff herself like very hard. And then CA damage up allows you to, cap on Ougi's a little bit easily, especially because we talked about Dark doesn't really run Ougi weapons. Our Ougi weapons kind of suck, but we do have that unheal uncap, so that's coming soon too. Um, so yeah, Tira's very good. Tira's very good. Tsukiyomi, I'm controversial on this character. Did they ever post how much her charge bar is? 20% charge bar gain up is a lot of charge bar gain up, by the way, and this procs in the back line. So I actually think she's not bad for if you're trying to run, God forbid, okay? God for fucking bid, you're running Indala. Fuck that character. She's actually not bad for that because this in conjunction with Hades is a lot of charge bar gain, right? So you can cycle Ogies pretty easily. That lets you kind of skimp out on running Vikala because I don't think Vikala is that great, especially when you're taking damage and she loses her skill 3 buff. It's very hard to cycle Ogi. But given the fact that we're running double primal summons, you pretty much have like 100% uptime on the Hades charge bar gain. And then, of course, Tsukiyomi backline charge bar gain is permanent, so you're always going to have that. I think her as a frontline character, you definitely want to run her with Lobelia if you're because I think the whole premise of running an Ogi character and an Ogi comp is you want to Ogi loop. So running her with Lobelia gives a crest to himself, which heals based off her passive and gives 10% charge bar gain. Of course, we talked about this. She has 20% charge bar gain up, so that's actually 12%, which also makes Lobelia's 12%. Which if you're running with Indala as well, I think her skill 2 is 10%, so that's 12%, and it procs twice, so 24%. So you could pretty much Ogi over and over and over and over and over again, um, which is quite nice. She gives perp attack to herself, I believe. Yeah, to herself, and then she boosts her own specs as well. Now, my only gripe on this character is they should have given this character double Ogi. Should have given it double Ogi, and then of course she has 10% uplift as well. And then from second cast, giving the shield and the spell cancel is pretty good. Only problem is this cooldown is mad long. It lowers on Ogi, but again, if you double Ogi, this skill will be up like almost 100% uptime. So I think, well, I guess if you're Ogiing, this lowers like every turn. This lowers like two because you one turn cut, and then of course you're taking a turn, so it's two. So I think you have 100% uptime on this anyway. Cause yeah, 5 times 2 is 10. So yeah, this would be like a you could spam this skill. So this is pretty much always up, which is pretty good. Getting the refresh buff as well on top of this passive healing. She's honestly quite good for sustain. I just don't see this character's damage really being good. Um, she supplements CA damage, and it's like to the full party. But I think this character would pretty much only be used for like solo. I do think though, with Rising Force being a thing and Onhill getting the CA awakening, I do see potential for you to run this character in like Fa Zero and like maybe Dark can solo Fa Zero in that nature. Indala does a ton of hits. Lobelia has hits from his skill 1. So, and then of course if you're running Pinching Harmonics, that's even more hits. So, I think those are things to keep in mind as well. But we'll see that when we get there, when we actually get the Unhail Uncap. Because the problem with Ogi is we just don't have good Ogi weapons. So our Ogis kind of suck. But I think the Unhail Awakening in conjunction with the Moonlight Blessing buff is going to be pretty good. So there's that too. So I think Tsukiyomi, I was kind of hating on this character when she dropped. But when I first saw it, there's potential. Especially since I'm seeing they're just going to keep trying to push this skill damage and Ogi thing onto Dark. So I think she definitely has like potential. Um, and of course her Ogi heals as well, and is a dispel or not dispel clarity for one buff. So that's there as well. What would you say the prime backline crest characters are? Because we have a ton of them now. It really depends what you're running. Of course, sustain isn't a problem for Dark, so you're probably gonna run Lobelia or Forte for the bonus damage. And then you could either run Chloe for refresh or you run Florence for the defense up. I would recommend Florence because 50% defense is a lot. But between those two, those are I would run Lobelia and Florence pretty much are the two I'd run. Or Tico. Tico's also very good. But Tico's not a crest character, so there's that too. But that blue pot probably matters more than Florence's 50% defense up in the long run. And that's pretty much all the characters for the non-limited for Dart. So I think overall, some of the recent characters we've gotten, some of them are good, but they're not so good that you would ever run them over the core units that we're already using. So for Burst, Ilsa, Seox, Idala. For HL, Ray, Oro, Fediel. And then for full auto, it's a mix of like you could run Ilsa, you could run Seox, you could run Sidala. As you can see on my need, my Horus FA, right? Oh shit, I gotta like get this raid. Let's see if I got anything. Sheesh. I mean, that's like every Ellie, no. What do you mean that's every Ellie? For like what context? I forgot what I just said because I'm brain damaged. But even like this party, you could run Tira, right? But I think you run Tira like over like Indala or something, or like I think Ilsa. But you pretty much like run these same characters all the time. Most normal units aren't generally used. I mean, yeah, that's another whole issue with side games that I'm gonna get into, especially for Dark, is they just make a bunch of characters that are like decent or like okay, but you're never gonna use them over like another character. So looking at the seasonals, and especially with the characters being seasonal, bruh, why would I ever like invest in that? All right, so getting down to, let's see. Oh God, here we go, bruh. So Indala, right? For example, I mean the only one I can think of is Olivia, who I think is just a grand. I mean, yeah, Olivia's disgusting, but like there's also like Ragazzo. You got to think about like Ragazzo, and then let me scroll back up to this, right? So there's Ragazzo, and then for light you have Feather is really good. Gawain has potential. Goblin Mage is like slow, but she can like do a lot of damage. Um, Percy Light has potential as well for especially like Guild War usage. I think that's like kind of it. Tico's good for like some full autos. The band girls are good in light. Yeah, band girls are good. Utsusemi has good potential. Yo is pretty decent, and then I'm missing one that I was just thinking of, but I can't think of anymore that I might have passed. It'll come back to me eventually. 11 Sisters? No, the maids. Maids are good too for bursting on like race and shit. I don't think the 11 Sisters are good unless that's like the maids. I don't think they're the maids. Wind has, I think some of like Karo is good, but he's just too slow. That's like the problem with like some of these Wind characters. Enyo is good. Uh, no one uses Hellas. Mirian is very good. Mirian is very good, right? Noir is pretty good. Mirian goaded, yeah. Mirian and Noir are pretty goaded. Light Lunalu saw a lot of use in Guild War. Yeah, Light Lunalu was also pretty good. I saw Spinna in like one of the faster Galleon setups like back in the day before like Noir came out. Friday is good for like Siegfried on Fridays, right? And so there's like every element has pretty good characters that are like not limited. Like Amelia's good. Uh, Kalulu's good. Lamretta can be good. Reset can be good. Olivia's fucking broken. Pengy's good. Sabrina's good. Earthtater's good. Water, we're not even gonna talk about water. Fucking Erica, Korwa, Alicia, Macula, Zeta. What's poppin'? Happy birthday, bro. Yo, appreciate it, Star. Appreciate it, bro. So yeah, every element has good like non-limited characters. There's a lot of fluff characters, but there's also characters that are like actually good slash broken. Like I think Ragazzo's low key broken. The fact that you can just guaranteed sack him in like 2 turns is very strong. But yeah, into Indala, right? Here we go. Here we go with the limiteds, right? Bro, why does Indala put herself to sleep, bro? I think it doesn't really matter for some HL that does like AoE because when you take damage, she's gonna wake up. But it's like, bro, why? Why do you put yourself to sleep? And you take 25% more damage for what, bro? And then you give yourself a skill that is a 3-turn cut to the buff that puts you to sleep. For what, bro? For bro, who the fuck inside games thought this was a good idea? Who? Bro. These niggas made Dragon, bro. They made Dragon. Dragon is so broken, bro. That bitch has to be top 3. Percival's the best character in the game. Dragon's gotta be top 3. Dragon's like number 3 or like number 2. It's crazy. Dragon's broken. And then they go and they make Indala. Makes it even worse. She was released right after. That's what I'm saying, bro. Fucking KMR Jr. is like, damn guys, he's fucking scratching his head. Let me see if I can get the fucking sound effect. He's like sitting there scratching his head. I'm like, damn guys, we really fucked up with Dragon, huh? Shit. I guess that means we can power creep the rest of the water characters since they're always gonna be worse than Dragon anyway, but they're still gonna be broken, just not as broken. Fucking dumbasses, bro. And then you drop in Dala, and you're like, damn, Dark doesn't really have much Oki options, huh? Like, the weapons are not too good, so let's just give a character that just buffs Dark Ogi, right? Just like gives them like Ogi buffs, right? So that way they don't have to run the weapons in grid, and they're free to run other shit. Bro, you couldn't even cycle the bitch's Ogi properly until Tsukiyomi. These niggas took a full fucking 3 months to drop a character that could actually make Indala work to some extent, and then you couldn't even use her in like some of the general full auto shit because she's fucking sleep. You're a divine general. The fuck is you sleeping on the job for? I swear to God, if I fucking read the anniversary event and this bitch is asleep, I'm gonna fucking crash out, bro. I'm gonna crash out. It's whatever, dude. And it's like, it's so tragic too, because she's so clicky. Not only does she fucking fall asleep, when she wakes her dumb ass up, she's fucking sitting there clicking like that one gif with the guy just fucking mashing his keyboard playing fucking Destiny. Like, what the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? And the skills are good. Yes, the skills are good. They do a fuck ton of damage. Yes. But bro, why is it why is it activate twice? Why is this one activate twice? Just make it to where the hit number doubles, or like the shit doubles based on like this one. Hit number doubles. That's all they had to do. That's all they had to do. And you know what's crazy? They didn't even make this one fucking, I guess you could use it twice for like the charge bar, but bro, it's crazy. And then not only that, you make the character's skills reliant on toxicosis, which there's no characters in Dark that properly give toxicosis. I'm running Magus, who's literally, bro, I'm running Magus, who's literally killing herself. She just said, fuck it, this just get me out of this element. Take me somewhere else. She's fucking dying. And then you fucking having Dala, she's fucking like, damn, get me the fuck out this element. I'ma fucking go to sleep. Wake me up when this shit's good. Right? And then who else? Is it fucking Magisa? Who's the other toxicos? Is it Tanya? Does fucking Tanya give toxicosis? Tanya gives toxicosis too. Who the fuck is running Tanya in 2025? Nobody. Nobody's running Tanya. You know why? Because she fucking is a dodge-based character fighting against fucking deities that fucking have God sight. They're literally fucking gods. Sub-HL, God sight. Lucius, God sight. Fucking Hexa, God sight. The fuck is she dodging? Bro, I don't get me started, bro. This character is so I swear she's shit. I don't give a fuck, bro. This character's ass. I don't think they can do anything to make this character good. They just gotta rebalance her. They gotta rebalance her. She's okay. You know what? She's like, she could be worse, bro. She could be worse, and at least the sleep is only one turn. Like, it could be worse. But bro, if you remove the fucking 3-turn cut when you use the skill 3, she wouldn't even be that bad. The shit lasts 12 turns. If she falls asleep once every 12 turns, it wouldn't be such a big deal. But the fact that she fucking goes to sleep is crazy. And then, of course, the 5-turn cut to removable buffs is pretty good. That part's good. I can't complain about that. And this shit procs like multiple times, right? Because when it's level 10, 5-turn cut to removable buffs, gain 5. I don't think this is like, I think anytime a foe buffs themselves, it just procs. Don't forget they gave Water Yatima. That's what I'm saying. Didn't Yatima come out at... No, she came out before. Because Water Guild War was... Wait, when was Water Guild War? Wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. When did this bitch come out? 12/31. When the fuck did Yatima come out? Wait a fucking minute. Oh, thank God. She came out before. Thank God. If she came on after, I would have fucking blew my fucking... You know what? I ain't gonna say that, bro. That's it. I can't talk about Indala anymore, bro. And she... Bro. And then, You like, bro. Okay. Like this is opinion based, bro. Look at this shit. She's like all majestic and shit, bro. And then look at fucking Dragon, bro. Somehow Dragon has infinitely more sex appeal and is still majestic as fuck. Look at the dragon in the background. Look at the fucking fan, bro, or whatever the fuck this shit is. Bro, what are we doing at Side Games? What are we doing? They're both mid. I agree. I'm not a huge Dragon fan, and I fucking don't like Indala. I can agree with that. When I did my tier list, Indala was at like the bottom, and fucking Dragon was like mid, right? I mean, at least Dragon's breedable. I can't even breed this shit. This shit's like a fucking Chinese warrior princess, like fucking Mulan, and it's just like damn. She's just like all in like this royal garb type shit, and it's like you fucking take her to the bedroom, and you're on one of those beds that have the fucking drapes and shit over it, where fucking all the kings bring their concubines. That's the type of breeding you're doing in Dala. The fucking sensual shit, right? But again, this is neither here nor there. This character fucking blows. I don't care. Fix the character. Fucking yeah, you can Ougi cycle on it now, but again, Dark's Ougi damage is ass. You don't even proc skill damage on the fucking Ougi. Like you look at like Wind with like bro, Wind is procking all that damage on Ougi. Light is procking all that damage on Ougi. Yatima's procking damage on Ougi. What the fuck other Ougi characters this fucking the shit use? Yo, Chris Cast, appreciate the subscription, bro. What the fuck is fucking Dragon, bro? Why does Dragon lower her skills, all those broken ass skills, by 3 turns on Ougi? Why? Why? And then she gets double strike from it. Why? But Indala takes her ass to sleep and fucking lowers her buff turn by 3 turns. Why? They just fucking Hail Married it, said fuck Dark players, bro. They just said fuck it. I guess I'm just supposed to eat shit. Like what is that, bro? What is that? Fucking Dragon's so broken, they don't even got the bitch's base multi-attack listed. Cause she just deals TA. What I need base TA for when I just do it for free? Just existing. Oh, but you know, I go to Indala immune to poison. What fucking boss is poisoning you? Who's doing that? Who? I gotta look. What fucking bro? What light boss is poison? Horus isn't. Lumi's not. Luo's not. Who's doing it? MMT is not. What am I getting poisoned by? The HO raids aren't poisoning you. Who's poisoning me? Cosmos isn't. What is the purpose of this? Why does she have this? Aku, she's a snake. You gotta get with the culture, man. Of course a snake's gonna be immune to poison. She's venomous herself. The bitch's bite ain't doing shit. Fuck it. Maybe she is venomous. That's why the skills take fucking so long to click. Fucking click, whittling them down with fucking poison and toxicosis. I guess I'm just fucking, and now I'm seeing the bigger picture. Maybe Side Games is cooking. Just fuck practicality. Let's just give this character a fucking concept and an aesthetic. And then you got Dragon just doing Dragon shit, just fucking all subbing, dodge all, double strike to the whole party. Just fucking Dragon just giving fucking celestial buffs to the party. Fucking cloud walking in the ninth realm of heaven like fucking Wukong. Like what's the? I gotta get off this character. I gotta get off. I'm losing my voice, bro. I I can't. I gotta get off this character. I'm not even gonna talk about Vikala. I'm not, bro. Just fuck it, bro. Oh my god, I need some water, bro. I need some water. This shit got me pressed. Sidala. Sidala's actually good. Fucking, she's good on burst. I think her skill 1 is also really good. It's just a shame that the Magic Tiger buff, you get that shit from Tide of Chaos, so you have to Ougi, and you're not really Ouging with this character, but also her skills are 10 turn cooldowns for God knows what reason, and her Ougi only lowers it by 1 turn. For what purpose, right? Fucking, again, if you're running the Ougi composition, right, Bro, this shit doesn't even matter in a Ougi competition. The fucking bonus damage and guaranteed TA doesn't matter because you're gonna Ougi. For some reason, they give this shit uplift like she's ever gonna Ougi or be in a Ougi comp. And then she has some sustain from this. And I think when she has this shit, both of them, don't you cast both skills? Consumed upon next link skill used to activate both link skills. Okay, bet. So, yeah, these both proc. But it's fucking, it's crazy. It's crazy. And she gains coupled confection. Oh, that's the shit you start with too at the battle start, which is that shit's good. Supplement normal type damage by 50k, and then of course doing like good damage. She has debuffs as well. Citadel is pretty good. You can use this to kind of substitute and tank some shit in like HL raids. Of course, the damage mitigation and the refresh is good, and the armored is good for sustain. But again, it's a fucking 10 turn CD. It's a 10 turn CD, and you only lower it by one turn, and this she's not Ougi. Let's say you ran like fucking you kicked Ray for Sidala, and you're running like Sidala, Fedial, Orologia, right? You're bro, those characters don't even give charge bar. You get uplift from Fed 3, which I think it's unique uplift, and you get uplift from her skill 1. You're not clicking her skill 1, because if you're running her in HL, you're clicking her skill 2, so you don't blow up to the boss. It's like, bro, she's good though. She's good. She's versatile too, to some extent. Claris, that character's dead. Lobelia's actually like pretty good. Um, as y'all saw it in the my fall comp, you pretty much what you do is you get Lobelia stacks with MC skill 1 and like Secret Triad, and then you click his skill 1 and he starts with a crest, so that's like 1, 2, 3, 4 crests. Um, and then you pretty much just use him for a few turns, and then you death him into Ray, but you use his skill 3, so that way it procs on like autos and like skills. So he's pretty good. He's clicky, but it could be worse, right? Could be worse. He's like a breath of fresh air as far as Dark goes. So I'm not hating on him, and he's kind of got that shit on too. So I can't really hate on him. He's got that shit on. I respect it. Lobelia is goated. He gets a pass. He gets a pass, right? Um, he also was used in like full autos, like Cosmos, full auto solo and joining. MMT, like the Martial Mastery Trial, he's used in solo and joining. So he's pretty good. He definitely updated Dark in the way that I feel like Dark could use an update. I think the only primary thing that Dark needs an update on nowadays is like bursting. And I think the only way we're gonna get that is if we get a character like Predator, but all three of her skills are just in one button press. I mean, shit, Dragon does it. Bitch has quad strike on one click. Why can't my character have fucking like tri strike and like assassin? Why not? In one click. Why not? Anyway, what else we got? Amira, whatever. Anthuria, whatever. Azusa has some usage. She tanks a lot of damage. Her skill 2 does like 50 mil when you have like fed spears in your grid, like supplemental like skill damage and shit. So not bad. Azusa has like she can get used sometimes. Kupitan, she could be used in like what's that shit? She could be. I think she gives Toxicosis too for Indala from her skill 1. I think. Yeah, she can. Right. But this character is hard to use. Like as far as like a ton of turns go, she's pretty hard to use. Because she gets no charge bar gain upon normal attacks, but you can activate her skill 1, I believe. One of these skills gives her a charge bar. Maybe not. Weird. That's weird. Yeah, she's really hard to pilot. You have to run debuff skills. Dark characters literally don't have debuff skills. You have raid 3 and like that's it, bruh. So, I mean, this is like whatever. So you're gonna run out of shit eventually. But she's really good for her charge attack, dealing a bunch of debuffs, dealing like good charge attack damage, things of that nature. Getting CA react as well on her skill too. So she is used for like Go HL farming to some extent, especially in the past. But she's kind of been like crept out a bit, so it's whatever. She has quad strike and she deals a fuck ton of damage too, plus assassin. I fucking forgot the bitch has assassin, bro. I better get a dark character that has tri strike built in and fucking does like assassin hits on like the second and third like strike. I fucking I can't, bro. That's like, bro, that would make go like fucking shit goaded. And if you gave her built-in tri-strike, it would make it to where Aresh isn't like so broken, right? Because the assassin is attached to her skill specifically. But I guess, bro, you know what? Fuck that, bro. She should assassin like on double strike, tri-strike, and quad strike. I swear to God, Dragon does it. You can run Mana Diver with Overtrance, and Dragon does Assassin for 9 turns straight. So why can't my Dark character do Assassin for 3 turns? Fucking shit ass game. Anyway, Danua, whatever. DLF. DLF is again one of those options that we got, like where she's really mid, but she's also pretty good at what she does. Like for like Fa Zero, for example, is she came out around the time where Dark was struggling for Fa Zero sustain options. So having the bonus Dark damage to all allies made the hit labor really good. Her Ougi refreshing her skill 2 cooldown to give charge bar to make it easier to Ougi, as well as restoring HP, giving a shield. I think she gives damage mitigation too on something. No, okay. But yeah, she gives hits, she gives charge bar, she removes the debuff. Shielding is quite nice. Jewel protection is pretty good because you get the charge bar gain boost. So again, if they're trying to propel you into something Ougi related, pretty good. But as far as that goes with Dark, I think this is just decent for if you're using Mana Diver with like Zosimos and you're struggling to get because of course Ouroboros consumes 30% charge bar. If you're autoing, you can kind of get some of that charge bar back. But yeah, there's that. And then of course having like boost to attack, perpetuity, defense, multi-attack rate made doing MA a lot easier before we had causality driver. Cause I think she came out before Oro came out. So having that extra multi-attack actually like mattered a lot. And then of course when a foe like charge diamonds are full at the end of the turn, one turn cut to this. This really should have been when a foe uses a special attack, to be honest, but it's what it is. Right? And then of course all these buffs are very strong. Perp attack and like TA up is very good. Healing specs is very good, right? So DLF is a good option. Halicena only seen this character used for Hexa solo, but she does good damage, right? She buffs the party with hype, I believe. Is yeah, all dark allies gain hype. Her Ougi procs twice, so you don't have to worry about like 5 CA omens or like 6 CA omens in like Fall Zero. And also the Ariar Wilnos phase for like Hexa. She gives a bunch of like the multi attack rate up, so like 20% TA is like pretty solid. This is something that lasts indefinitely, but you pretty much lose it after 2 turns, I believe. Like after, yeah, it ends up on activating twice. So once it procs twice, you lose it. But again, as far as Ougi goes, it's pretty good. And then of course her skill 3, all allies get 100% charge bar. But you can only use it at fucking Gourd Crusher 3. But I think the good thing about her is that she doesn't lose Gourd Crusher stacks, right? So she does get the 20% charge bar gain up and the spell cancel, which is probably the most important part about her because it helps you cycle Ogies. I think this character was one of the original like Ougi cycling units. So once you get Gourd Crusher level 3, you could pretty much slot her in slot 2, and then you could probably use Indala as well. Because of Indala skill 2. And then of course with her game and then her double Ougi as well, like Gourd Crusher 3, you pretty much, as well as Hades charge bar gain, you pretty much just like cycle Ogies pretty easily. And if you're ever in a situation where you need to auto attack, her hype is pretty good too. So these are all things that are quite good for the character. I just think a lot of characters don't, or a lot of people don't have the character because that banner was kind of ass. And Dark was kind of ass when she came out, so nobody rolled for her. But I think she can situationally be good. Same with Hecate. Hecate's like a nuker, right? God damn. Shit, bro. God. You know what? Anyway, bro. Anyway. Um, Hecate does a fuck ton of damage, right? From what you saw in like the MMT full auto that I did earlier, this shit does like 15 mil. This one does like 6 mil with like a proper grid. And then of course this one does like 15 mil, right? And it procs upon like every instance of act, like when you get a crest, like one or more, is granted by MC. So that one is like pretty good. She does a lot of damage. Um, Immune to Charmed is actually relevant because some bosses will just charm you. And it makes sense because she's a fucking baddie and she's charming me. So I can't charm her back. Of course she's immune to charm. It actually makes sense this time. But of course she also gets perp attack, GTA, 100% buff to defense, so she's taking half damage from like all instances except for plain damage. Amplifying skill damage is pretty good, although it's seraphic, so it's kind of whatever. And then of course the 100% boosted debuff res, which is better than Veil because you just it's like Octo, right? You just negate it outright unless the boss buffs their own debuff success rate. Then it can kind of go through it. Um, and then of course having her skill 3 up gives you this IGN Embrace, which is pretty much just like buffing the fuck out of uh her skill cooldowns as well as her skill damage. So her Kate is really good. Of course, she also does attack and defense down stackable, and she does way more damage than Florence while still having the supplemental skill damage and kind of buffing her skill damage. Right, bro. Boogeyman. Oh yeah, she would be good with Boogeyman too. Cheetah's fine as hell. What the fuck? Yeah, Cheetah's bad. Cheetah's bad. Ilsa, don't gotta talk about Ilsa. Ilsa's broken. Ilsa's still like top 3 dark characters you can get. I think Ilsa, if I was a guy that was like starting out in dark and I had nothing, Ilsa would be the first character I get if I had the option to. That character is very very good, and you can use her in HL, you use her in burst, you use her in full auto. She's like all encompassing. Magisa, this character fell off. I don't really want to talk about her that much because like she fell off. The only thing you're really possibly using her for is like Cosmos full auto. Um, and that's mostly because she, I mean, she's basically like what's her face, Kate. She buffs her attack, buffs her defense. She gets GT like or a fucking GDA instead of GTA, but she does do more. Like she has hits as well. Um, so she's, I mean, she's solid. She gives Veil instead of debuff resistance up, but it does apply to the party. Like these all apply to the party, I believe, and not just her, right? I'm lying. Okay, it's buffs to casters. Okay, so yeah, she gets this herself, and like Veil is like whatever. All right, so I think she's like, oh, I think this is to the party, but yeah, she's like just kind of she's just kind of there. She's that common chick from every anime where nobody pays attention, but we all know she's hot as fuck. Facts. Megas is actually good. You use her in a bunch of full autos, such as like Cosmos, Martial Mastery Trial. You can use her in HL. She was used for Fa Zero for a little bit. She's good. Toxicosis does a bunch of debuffs on her skill too. So that's really like high damage. Her skill 3 has a 100% uptime, and it basically allows her to do the skill nuke on her skill 1. Because when she has that buff, it increases the number of hits to 12 instead of 6. She removes a buff every turn, and she also gains charge bar. And then, of course, when a foe has 10 or more debuffs, you activate skill 1, which is very strong because, again, you're removing buffs, you're gaining charge bar, you can cycle Ogis. When you Ogi, you end her cooldown for her skills, which is even more damage. It's pretty good. She's pretty good. Even if you don't Ogi, the fact that this procs if a foe has a bunch of debuffs, but she already applies one, two, three, four of them, plus 5 if you count her skill 3, that's already, 5 out of 10, right? And so if you factor like Fedial, for example, that's like another 3, so that's like 8. If you use her with like Hakate or whatever, we looked at her. That one, she applies the debuff res down, TA down, this debuff from her skill 2, and then of course the defense and attack down stackable, so that's like already 10 debuffs right there. So not very hard to pilot, not very hard to use. Character's really good. Using a lot of full autos, right? So Megas is pretty good. Meg is like honorable mention. I think Meg is like decent. She's like an assassin character, but she's clicky because you have to apply chum and then you have to use the assassin skill. And then her skill 2 is also pretty decent because of the damage amp plus keen. So you kind of want to click that sometimes too. But the problem with Meg is you need Yukata characters in the party to gain some of these buffs. You pretty much only care about having 2 of them though, because you get the perp attack and you get the GTA plus bonus damage. Um, she also gives 10% bonus dark damage to critical hits on normal attack, which if you pair that with Ilsa, I don't know if it stacks with her skill 1 plus his passive, but it's pretty decent. Um, I think from like this passive, plus if you're running Yukata characters, she's pretty good because again GTA perp attack. But now that we have like Seox and shit, she kind of fell off a bit because Seox is just gross. Tabina, I think I saw her in like some solo content. I can't really talk too much about her because I don't fucking have her. But her weapon's good. Curry is good, right? Masala is very good. Um, Having bloodshed is very nice. Of course, we have Agastya staves, but the thing with Curry is it just gives a little bit more damage, especially if you're running like two. And you could also still pair it with Agastya saves, so there's that as well. But in terms of the character's gameplay, she just is like a debuff bot for the most part. Um, so yeah, she's a debuff bot, and like she also gets charge bar. So not too much to say about her. Vajra, not really gonna talk about her because she's not really used. I wouldn't really tell people to use her. Um, Halloween characters, Kag, only good for her weapon. She generates a green pot on Ougi. Lady Grey Halloween, I mean, you're not ever gonna use her. She was like a big fat shield and like Drain and like Death Grace and like she debuffs, but like that's pretty much it. Uh, you get 15% charge bar when you drain an foe's HP, which she gives drain on skill 1, 5 out of 7 uptime. Pretty good. Other than that though, this character is like not really that impressive. I've never seen this character like fully used. I think she's not bad, but again, there's just better options. Satyr, this character's good. I just don't have her, so I can't really talk too much about her. But she is used in like a lot of full autos. You can use her in like Fall Zero, like auto spamming with like Zosimotes and Mana Diver. She also gives the sub like the skill damage cap and skill damage up as well on her passive, which a lot of dark allies are getting nowadays. Like Florence and Hecate do it. So this isn't a very uncommon thing to have. She does auto activate the skill 2, which also heals and gives a 2-turn cut to debuff duration when you have a Twinkle Star. So this is very good. This is, again, you don't really use buttons. And then if you need to, like, panic button, you can click her skill 3. It's a all sub. Lower the damage a lot. You know, all those things of that nature. I think the good part of this character, though, is when you apply Trick Doll, right? You... I think she does this at the end of turn, right? Or, like, when a boss does something. She gives you the damage reduction against foes with Trick Doll, and then of course she gives you all these passive stats. It takes 10 turns to max them out, but the buffs are of course really good. Um, you consume two Twinkle Stars to apply this, right? And I think there was something too. I thought if you did so much damage, she like does something. But I don't know. I don't have the characters. I don't know. But Satyr's pretty good. You use her in like Martial Mastery Trial full auto. You can use her in like Cosmos full auto with like the Indala setup. You can use her in like Fall HL mashing. You can use her in like Sub HL full auto as well. Um, that's kind of like her strength, and she's also hot. So um, yeah. But beware, she might have a cock. We all know how Satyr works, so keep that in mind. If you're into that Fuda, shit, like more power to you. Pico Halloween characters, whatever. Uh, she's a blue pop bot. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it, bro. Fiorito Holiday is like a backline character. She's like not that good. Rosetta Holiday is not good. Idrisil is like a worse like DLF and like Satyr. She gives you buffs can't be removed. Charge bar gains boosted, which is like whatever. Caster and Dark Ally in next position gain instant charge, but that's just a 9-turn cooldown. Uh, she kind of is like a semi uni with this Ougi. And if you pair that in conjunction with like Tsukiyomi, of course this is like a little bit more. But why would you do that when you can run like Lobelia, who just does it on skill 1, or like Indala, who does it on skill 2? So not impressive. The healing is not impressive. Random buffs is not impressive. You need 15 or more buffs. We're playing dark. That shit's not happening. Yeah. I mean, this character's like not impressive. Right? She's like a worse other bitch who I just went over. I don't know who did I go over. I think it was Satyr. She's like a worse Satyr, worse DLF. I think people sleep on Uni. Uh, she gives 15% charge bar, which again, if you pair that with Tsukiyomi backline, this is what amplified by 20%. If you're using Hades as well, this is also amplified. So you can like you pretty much use her in like Oki looping setups as well. But she doesn't do a ton of damage, which is like the problem. And these are all link skills, and they consume precious holidays, which is very similar to Uni, like original one. She does buff the fuck out of Dark allies, like CA specs, and she increases the number of chambers by 2. So if you just do two Ogis, you get a Tide of Chaos, which if I recall properly, whenever Tide of Chaos is procced on Indala, she gets the cuddled confession buff or whatever. So Uni's actually not that bad to pair with her. The problem with that is you're just not gonna do damage. I'm gonna keep it stacked with you. But she does heal upon chain burst activation. She does gain a precious holiday upon Tide of Chaos, and of course you get all these Ogi buffs, and she heals. So she's a very simple character. You just spam skill one, you Ogi, you use skill four, and then you like spam her skill two and her skill one. So she's decent. I think people sleep on her. It's just you usually don't have the time to like do all those clicks. Is like the main problem. I'm not talking about this. These characters are ass. Evangeline is the only other character I'm gonna talk about because I'm pretty sure, and like Rimuru. Those characters are like the only characters that are like worth talking to. Yeah, 'cause, like Lelouch like whatever. So yeah, Rimuru is actually pretty good. I use this guy in fall high level, and as well like Tran. Tran also use her in fall high level. She. I said, did I say her? I guess technically Rimuru was like fucking genderless, right? Or whatever. Yeah, like other gender. Yeah. So Rimuru, they're pretty good. They give like the spell cancel, 20% TA and uplift, which is pretty good. It's 3 out of 7 uptime. Um, but you do get the one turn cut to it whenever you Ogi, which is pretty solid. It does decent like damage on skill one while also removing a buff. Um, while also buffing themselves quite strong. So I gotta look at the numbers. 'Cause I haven't looked at the numbers fully, but yeah, when you remove a buff, you do get the one time bonus dark damage, which is something to keep in mind. Um, this skill 3 is kind of gross. Being able to fully restore HP and remove all debuffs is pretty gross. Yes, it's a 14 turn cooldown, but you got to keep in mind when you're using characters like Tico Backline, you get 3 blue pots plus 2 green pots. Plus, if you're running Orologia already gives you a full heal plus remove all debuffs. So this like sustain is kind of disgusting. Um, and then let me see. This initiates battle mode or auto battle mode, and when it's in effect, you can't use the other skills or CA, but you do have to have the analytical appraisal level 5, which you raise that by removing a buff, which or casting the skill, right? Which I mean, if you're running them in like high level, they don't really there's like no buff to dispel most of the time. So unless you're like not clearing a trigger, but the analytical appraisal, you get perp, 100% defense, you guaranteed crit, dodge rate, and damage cap up. It's pretty good. And then of course when a foe uses a special attack, it um puts the skill off cooldown, so you can get this like buff up faster, which lets you go into auto battle mode. Which I mean, bruh, if we gotta look at this shit. This shit's gross. They have it down here. They don't. It gives you TLDR. If I can look at it, take no damage or debuffs, deal TA, bonus dark damage, amplify normal attack, deal the ward level gluttony, activate to end the turn, and you pretty much just can't remove it. And you get it for 3 turns. And you can't recast it. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. You would like use this in like a scenario where you're trying to like clear a bunch of omens. So like in Fa Zero, for example, 99 hit, 99 mil damage, things of that nature. I do think too that Rimmer's like full auto potential is not that great just because you need to stack this. But and you need like Ogi on too, so like stack it pretty quick. But other than that, not really too crazy. You do get this auto nuke if Rimru's HP is above 50 at the end of the turn, and you do raise Thunderstruck. So let's say, bro, when I finally find my Futsu wife, I'm running Rimuru in every HL raid, so I can get her Thunderstruck up, bro. I'm telling you, I'm a real one. So yeah, Rimuru is pretty decent. Evangeline is very good. This character is very good. Being able to nuke every turn with the crystalline buff, right, has debuff immunity, right, and being able to like double cast these skills is very good. She does 4 debuffs with the skill 2, very good. And you or no 3, my bad. You get 3, and you can recast it, so it's like 6 total, right? And then you get 2 debuffs from Glaciate, and of course, as you know, Glaciate lowers foes multi attack, so pretty good. Um, and then of course the Ogi she inflicts 10% or 20% attack is it 25? Oh, 25% attack and defense down. It's not stackable, but of course, because this is a unique buff, you can apply it to the boss, right? So you kind of get around the fact that the attack and defense lower is it's like actual attack and defense and not like stackable. And then of course, changes to unworldly Ougi whenever you have skill 3. Skill 3 is very easy to get up because I believe the way you get it is you have the instigated level, right? Or when she hits 25% HP, right? Um but yeah, this character is really good. Whenever she gets her instigated levels, which you get from the end of turn, when allies deal damage 30 or more turns in the current turn, right? Or when she uses a damage skill. So you use 1-2, so that's 2 stacks, and then end of turn, when you deal 30 damage, that's 3 stacks. And then pretty much you get it like 2 turns later, so like turn 3 pretty much. And you get perp attack, GTA, drain, skill damage amp, and you do normal attack uh auto nukes, which is pretty strong. That shit's pretty strong. But yeah, this character, I mean, there's not much else to say about her. She's just really good. Lots of damage, lots of like mitigation from drain, and then of course having GTA is like a staple nowadays. You can't not have GTA, right? But other than that, there's like, bro, there's like no other dark character I want to talk about. Yeah, that's pretty much it, right? As far as characters go. So, as far as dark characters go, we've gotten a lot of decent like characters or good characters. For example, like Sidala, Evangeline, or Logia within the past year, and a lot of those characters fixed Dark Burst to an extent, and especially Dark HO with Orologia. But yeah. So the no healers allegation, they fixed that, right? They fixed that. So this is like irrelevant. And then of course reliance on Ougi and 4chain that still exists, but of course we have like Uni for that, but like nobody really has Uni. Um, but it looks like they're trying to gear us more towards like an Ougi oriented meta. So we'll see about this part. Can't really comment too much on that. I'm skipping summons and weapons because I mean there's not much to say. Um, Pretty much if you're trying to go Hades, you could use some of the niche weapons like Summer Magisa weapon or like Jessica Jasmine weapon, Lady Grey weapon. You could use it if you wanted to, but like I wouldn't advise it. I have it, but I just don't reason really use it. So yeah, there's like various gotcha weapons you can use. But as far as grands, you want your like 2 causality drivers or maybe 3 if you're like main the element, 2 PNS. Having Babel was like pretty decent. 2 Fallen Swords are pretty decent as well, or I would say they're very strong for bursting. And then Eternal Signatures have kind of gotten phased out, but having 2 to 3 is still pretty good. Usually you run like 1 or 3 in like my experience because running 3 plus POD or plus Parazonium like procs it. Um, or you run like 1 and then you run like say like PNS plus like Babel or PNS like Celestial Axe and like Aresh or like any variation of like 4 of the same weapon type pretty much. Um I think when we do run Unhail, it's gonna be kind of hard to run like 4 harp because I can't really think of like crazy dark harps. Because I'd probably like main Uli and then you run like Unhail and then you run like this or you run Agostia harp too. I think that's also like pretty doable. But yeah, that's what I would say like TLDR as far as dark weapons. And of course, if you're farming M3, it's a no-brainer. Farm 5 of the fists just to have it for any situation. You pretty much only run like 4 nowadays because of Koku backline takes up that extra 10%. But and the not yeah, Koku plus the summon from last anniversary pretty much takes care of that to where you need like 4. And I'd get like 2 of these and like 2 of these. I have a bunch more just from farming, just in case. But 2 of these and like 4 of these, right? Very simple. And then as far as like Agasia goes, wherever events. I would farm 4 attack ones, which I just haven't uncapped these. I have a bunch of mats. I'm just lazy. And then like a defense and a spec and an attack of the heart, and then like a defense Agostia staff. I would just do that like that's a TLDR. That would be like my farming goals if I was like a dart guru, right? Um, of course, Exalto creep, Guild Wars irrelevant. Like element efficiency is pretty decent again with like Aresh. You can pretty much farm and Wampon most stuff very easily. You can burst in Akasha. So the element isn't as efficient as like water and fire, but I think it's better than like Earth, for example, and like most stuff. Already contrasted it to other elements, bro. We have our Exalto, our PNS, our Resonator. Um, as far as Providence summons go, of course, those Providence summons are fucking broken. We don't get any more value out of it than any other element, to be honest. Um, and then of course, like closing thoughts. I mean, again, Dark is in a much, much, much better position than it was like before Orologia and Sidala and things of that nature. Even Satyr is like kind of changed the game a bit. But I do expect us to get another dark character within the next like 2 months. I'm telling you, I smell it, bro. I smell it, right? So the element could change a bit more, but that's pretty much it as far as things go. Um, I don't think I missed anything. If I did, I'll add like an addendum or something. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Appreciate it for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm trying to hit that 500 subscriber goal by like summer, because I'm trying to push out more Ian content. Trying to be that Ian goat. Shout out Tran. Shout out AJT. Shout out Umikin. Shout out DY. Shout out someone else. I fucking the guy that does the that reads all the stories, like the Grand Blue stories and Fate episodes. Shout out that dude. Forgot your name, but you're like the only person who does it, so people will find you, right? Um, but yeah, that's it. If you have any like questions or anything, just like leave it in the comments, or like if I left something out, like comment about it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace out.